It's time for All Hands on Tech.
Climb on board as hosts Amina and Isaac explore all of the amazing things happening in Nova Scotia's tech sector. Each episode, we will chat with local experts to uncover the secrets of what makes Nova Scotia the best place for collaboration, innovation, and creativity.
All Hands on Tech is proudly produced by Digital Nova Scotia, the industry association for Nova Scotia's growing tech sector.
Happy fall. Welcome back to All Hands on Tech. I'm Isaac Cook, and co-hosting alongside me today is our amazing project marketing coordinator, Jenna Legaire. Say hi, Jenna.
Hi, everyone.
So helping the world's largest enterprises and best entrepreneurs identify strategic opportunities to build, design, and release cutting-edge technology solutions to benefit their customers, today's guest, TribalScale, offers a unique and comprehensive approach to digital innovation. Thanks for joining us today, Julia and Alyssa.
Hello. What's up? My name is Julia Oliva. I am the Senior People and Culture Specialist here at TribalScale. I've been here for about a year and a bit now, so I just kind of had my 1 year anniversary in July, so kudos to me for staying around, but it definitely has been a fun journey in the software world. What I do at TribalScale, it's more like what do I not do at TribalScale, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like TribalScale is so great in that way where you can kind of really just dabble into anything that you really want to. You have that flexibility. So what I usually focus on is the engineering side. So I recruit for software engineers from architects all the way to engineering co-ops. I also focus on people and culture. Obviously, the people and culture specialist is the key word there. And then supporting my manager, Nicola Watson, as well, and any support that she needs. But again, it's been a journey. So I can't even say on my hand how many fun things we do.
Yeah, and my name is Alyssa Berbekru, and I'm the marketing coordinator at TribalScale, and I've been here since December. So it's like coming up on a year soon in the winter. And yeah, just really involved in all things marketing, helping out with operations stuff as well. So yeah, that's a bit about me.
Sweet. So welcome to Halifax, I guess, first and foremost.
Yes.
Super exciting. You folks just kind of arrived today.
We just got off the tarmac and we hopped in the car and we are like, let's go to DNS. Let's have a chat. And we were
First
looking
time
forward
here.
to this. Yeah.
It's
So,
pretty cool.
driving down all the trees, it was very good vibes, I would say, for sure.
Yeah, especially coming from Ontario, Southern Ontario. The landscape here is very beautiful, I will say.
Yes.
It's very different. Yeah. No, I think I mentioned this before, but I think you're no more than like 45 minutes away from the ocean, no matter where you are in Nova Scotia. So that's kind of different than being smack dab in the middle of Canada.
Jealous.
We should have brought our bathing suits.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Yeah.
We failed.
It definitely is beach weather out today.
Yeah, it is.
So as per All Hands on Tech standard, we're going to kind of kick it off with some rapid fire questions. I'll ask the first one, and then Jenna, I'll toss it over to you. I'll do the third, and then we'll move on to some nice little Q&A. So first and foremost, I'm going to stare at you here, Alyssa.
All
I'm
right.
going to target you first, and then maybe I'll move over to you. So you're currently visiting Nova Scotia, and where do you both call home?
For me, I was born, raised, and I still live in like Kitchener-Waterloo. So not a huge town, still big, but it kind of gives me the same vibe as here. It has this same sort of size and feel to it, obviously just in Southern Ontario. So that is currently why I really love it here.
And yourself?
I am born and raised in Woodbridge, Ontario, so Vaughan, GTA, it's kind of all the same at the end of the day. Some people say Toronto. They just generalize Toronto as like a million kilometers away, but I'm from Vaughan. I've lived in the same area. I think we've just maybe moved houses, like we moved from one subdivision to another, but that's where I'm at right now, and it definitely is very very family oriented there, so everyone knows each other no matter where you go, grocery store, mall, you're seeing a friend, a cousin, a soccer player that you played with in the summer, things like that. So
it's kind of interesting for like GTA too, because most people will be like, nope, I can walk a mile and I won't see anyone. So that's really
every time you go out, you have to have nice hair. You got to make sure that you don't look too messy, because you might see one of your friends or a guy that you used to like or a girl you used to like, and it's like, oh man, gosh. So yeah.
The pressure's on.
Yeah.
Always.
All right. Rapid fire question number 2. Whale watching or wine tour?
Definitely whale watching, like hands down for me. That is actually something on my bucket list. So
You gonna try to fit it in? Doesn't sound like you can.
Is
but
it the season?
If you could.
Is it the season for it now?
Oh, I don't even know.
It's You can kind of go anytime between like the spring to the fall.
Okay. I'm going to come back for that.
Yeah.
I'm coming back.
Sounds good. We'll hold you to it. And yourself?
Mine would have to be the wine tasting. We're total polar opposites. I think we've discovered that
I love
throughout
that, though.
this trip so far. But I don't like white wine or red wine. I'm not like the typical Italian. I love like Moscato. That's the way to go. Or champagne. I could not sit and watch and wait for a whale. I'm the most impatient person. I want to click this pen so badly, and I can't even do that right now. So that's how impatient I am. Sit it right there.
So this is a little bit more of a deep question, but who or what inspires you? Could be either like personally, professionally, what maybe like inspired you to embark the journey to join TribalScale, anything that kind of comes to mind.
I think like what's inspiring to me and personally what I see a lot of in the members at TribalScale and employees here is like just how passionate people are in their craft, and like whatever they do, they bring this energy to it. They want to learn and constantly improve.
Amazing.
Yeah.
For me, I would say what originally started me on my journey in HR was my dad, because he started his own company at an older age, which can be very hard sometimes, especially if you don't have the resources. And so that's kind of what got me into working in the startup industry, and really just being able to work with a company and being able to make that change and being able to make that difference. And I think what's really great about TribalScale is that that's something that they're really looking for, is somebody who's going to want to go in there, who's going to want to grow themselves, who's going to want to make a change. And then if they want to take the next step in their career, then we're totally open to that. Or if you find something better, or you want to just elevate yourself into another platform, I think it's really great. So I think that's kind of one thing I really like about TribalScale. And I think I know it sounds very cliche coming from an HR person. I'm just going to be very transparent. But even in the interview process, when I had my conversation with Heather, when I started working here, she had me sold just like this. And she just made it seem like everyone knew each other. It wasn't like a family. It was like everyone was just friends, and we were just a really chill environment. And when I got there, I was not disappointed at all. So, yeah.
I love that.
Especially that like personal touch.
Yeah. Well, I think so often organizations use the whole like family analogy, but I think that kind of puts kind of like a difficult lens on it. But I like the friend, or like I heard someone say like it's like a neighborhood. That you grew up, you know these people, you can go to them and ask them for help, you can go visit, they'll let you borrow some food or like stay overnight kind of thing, whatever you need. But there's not that like family commitment, that like ride or die, we're here together,
like
you know,
the obligation, like
yeah,
it's more like, okay, well, I want to have a chat with you, I'm not obligated to chat with you, I just want to have a conversation. So I think it also kind of ties in even just like with where you grow up. Like if you're used to growing up in a tight-knit community, I feel like sometimes people look for that in their career, like they want to be able to have a conversation with somebody at work. So yeah,
love it. Cool. So did you want to start off our Q&A questions, Jenna?
Yeah, I will get the first one going. So our first question is, tell us about the TribalScale company culture, and what do you think actively built it?
I can try and take that one on.
Yeah.
I think the first thing is who actively builds it, I would say, is everybody at TribalScale. You really can't grow a flower unless you water it, right? So, and I think here you can't really grow a culture, and you can't really grow your mission and your values in your team unless you're enforcing it all the time, you're making it part of their daily life, and really having people get involved in it. And so, yeah, that's kind of how our culture is. I would say we really focus on our values here. That's something that we instill, I would say, if not twice a week in our TribalScale values chats. It's literally every single day while working with a team or working with someone new. So we really focus on empowering our employees. So empowerment. I said empowerment 3 times. Take 3 shots if you've heard me say it 3 times already.
Love it.
But yeah, empowerment, no matter who you are at TribalScale, whether you're a co-op student or you are the chief of staff, you always have a seat at the table. And I think that's really great that we elevate no matter where you are in your career. We also focus on challenging and resilience, and collaborating and caring, which are super, super big We are a pair programming environment, so we focus on an agile methodology. And so that's kind of where the challenging and the collaboration kind of comes in. And then I would say for resilience, I'm pretty sure Alyssa will kind of touch base on our fail fast mentality later on. But that's something we encourage you to make mistakes, because that's how you learn. Obviously, they're not foolish mistakes. They're mistakes that are going to help everyone grow. And we record those mistakes as well. So if anything were to pop up in the future, we kind of already have the solution to it. And then caring. Again, we are like a little neighborhood at TribalScale, right? So if somebody's having a bad day or they're not feeling the greatest, we want to make sure we open those conversations up, let them know that we are here to talk. And then we also have a lot of services as well that they can reach out to. So we have Inkblot. There's also therapy that they can use. They have 12 hours of therapy a year. So definitely try and make sure that like mental wellness is instilled at TribalScale.
Sweet. So why did TribalScale choose to have a co-op program, and what kind of is the importance of co-op placements at your organization?
Yeah. So one thing at TribalScale that we follow is writing the future. So as you all know, students are the future. They are going to be the future generations that are going to be leading the industries. And so we want to make sure that we can help them grow in their skill set. I know that sometimes it can be hard, whether it's getting a co-op placement or getting an internship, it might not be the most available. So we want to make sure that we can provide that to them and basically help elevate them in the next step in their career. TribalScale doesn't have to be the place where you need to be there forever. If we are just somebody that can help you get to where you want to be, whether it is pair programming and working with a more senior engineer or working with a more senior product manager, and basically just getting your feet in the water and being able to say, okay, well, this is something that I see myself doing, or maybe instead of working on front-end development, I'm going to dabble in back-end development, because after working with Ramon, I don't know if front-end development is my thing. Maybe I'm going to work with Sergey on back-end and learn a little bit more about Node.js and see how that stuff works. So I think it's really great that we provide that opportunity for our co-op students. And providing that in general. Another thing that I think is great for our co-op program and why we kind of have it is it gives them the opportunity to grow confidence in themselves. A lot of the times I feel like when people come into a company and they're new and they don't have experience, they feel like they're so small, and that's not something that we want to have here. So we will either have them lead demos, calls, or host employee events, just getting to know each other. So it definitely just really helps them get to where they want to be in their career. I feel like it's why we started the co-op program.
That's awesome. That's such an invaluable experience, honestly, being able to go into places like this as a co-op student.
Yeah.
Well, you really have that opportunity to utilize the co-op program throughout university, and a lot of universities offer it as part of their actual programming. I know there's quite a few spots here in Nova Scotia, for instance, like the public relations and communications courses. Like sometimes it's mandatory, if not highly suggested, that you do a co-op program. And whenever I speak to students, I'm like, please do it. Like utilize that time, because it really gives you that extra foot in the door, kind of as you were saying, that you're able to gauge like, okay, do I want to be a front-end developer? Do I want to be a back-end developer? Like, where can I focus my expertise on throughout the rest of university?
And it's risk-free at that point, too.
Exactly.
You're going, you're learning, you just absorb everything you can and go forth with that new knowledge.
And I'm gonna stare at you, Alyssa, a little bit more while I ask the next question. But kind of on the same note, but how have you folks adapted to the new way of working? You know, since COVID, there's been a lot of remote work. Everyone's kind of re-envisioning the office life, and especially working with like developers, like that all looks so different. And in a marketing and comms land, I know personally that looks very different. So what are your kind of thoughts on that?
Originally TribalScale used to have an office right before this whole COVID-19 pandemic started, and I myself, like when I was in university years ago, like remember hearing of TribalScale and how fun their office was, and it was this whole experience, right? So obviously when the pandemic started, it was like, how do we translate this over to remote? And there's a bunch of stuff that we do to, like, first of all, hold together our company culture and also make sure we're working still as effectively as we were in the past. Like, we're not losing that productivity and connection between everyone. So there's a bunch of things. I think the one thing, the main thing are the cadences that we've put in place. So we have a bunch of things. We start the week off and end the week off 9 a.m. on Mondays and Fridays with a company-wide stand-up. I particularly like this because my team is very small, the marketing team. So I feel very, you could feel very siloed if you don't see people regularly in different things like this. So to start and end the week this way is great, just with the company-wide team. Another thing we do is obviously we have our demos meeting where we get to like actively see the work that our project teams are doing so that everyone's connected to that and kind of in the loop. Yeah, I mean, I another tool that I really like that I guess maybe Julia can touch more on because it's more so on the employee side and the HR side is a tool called 15.5. I love that tool. I don't know if it's just me.
You're
but
obsessed.
I really like it because in terms of like your manager and employee relationship, like my manager personally, like he doesn't even live in the same country as me, like he's hours away and I've only actually met him once in person, which is really interesting. But how do we stay connected? How do we check in with each other on a weekly basis to make sure there's no problems, things are going smoothly, and also I'm working towards my personal goals. So that's a tool that we use that we kind of do this little check-in at the end of every week. But just it's a combination of tools, cadences, and we're still learning and improving. We have that iterative approach to it where, it's never like complete. It's always improving and we can do more or adjust based on how people are feeling, if they're liking something or not liking something. So that's kind of where we're at in our remote journey now.
Sounds like a very fun place to work.
Yes.
Sounds like company culture is really nailed down.
Oh yeah. And
we'd love to hear that.
We involve people in it too. Like we have a weekly cadence again to kind of get people together and get their thoughts on like what it's called people pathways. What sorts of events or initiatives or things do you guys want to see? And let's make it happen all together. So just involving everyone in that.
And I think it's like especially important for people who work in tech to be like people focused because like so often like tech work can be very draining, especially like coding, doing development, like that is a lot of mental work, and you need to be able to like cut that and be able to like go talk to some people or like hang out, like no matter if you're an introvert or extrovert, like you need to be able to like talk to people and just like be human.
Bring the people element back into your life.
No one wants to be a coding monkey.
No. It's burnout, right? Like huge thing.
Absolutely.
Huge problem.
So we kind of already touched on what you folks are kind of most proud of as a team and such, but I kind of want to ask a question mostly because I'm curious based on your own personal experiences on the TribalScale team. But what does it mean to both of you to be an innovation firm?
So for me, when I say like agile methodology, I think that extends to like every part of the business. It's almost like an agile environment where first of all, we empower people to try new things and learn and grow and try new strategies and get involved with more than what your role entails. Like we're such a tight-knit group and you can kind of take initiative with other things in the organization. So for me, it's that trial and error process of like constantly iterating, trying new things, and then whatever experience you have, whether it's positive or negative, you grow from it, you learn more. And I think it just extends to all areas of the organization, like because we're constantly iterating and improving, like we're moving fast, we're in tune with what's really happening in tech.
Yeah. I think even to add from like the HR side of things, but I would say I think we were even kind of like innovating each other because we were working fully in office and then all of a sudden now we have to work from home.
Yeah.
It's like we're all locked down. We have people who are in Toronto who are in tiny little apartments, or we have people that are in Brazil, or we have people that are in the States, and we have to now just all become a virtual team. And I think that was one thing, is just being able to transform TribalScale from being an in-office facility to being a remote office, and just kind of dealing with those struggles and just what did we do before, what were our processes, what were our cadences before, how can we make them better now. It all kind of comes together with just that. And
I think we moved quick too in that transition.
Well,
like
we had to
and we were set up because of the way that, you know, our methodologies to be able to do that, like we're like, okay, let's figure out a solution now, you know. And it came together like really, you know, impressively, in my opinion, to be honest, because not a lot of companies and organizations can say that they were that quick to do it. And you know, I think a lot of that just comes from the way we work and that methodology. So yeah.
And I think that's kind of a direct like translation of what
Yeah.
TribalScale had built before the pandemic and how easy that transition was, because I know there are countless organizations that really struggled to move online because they weren't either up to date on, you know, digital platforms, or weren't actively, you know, making space for virtual work. And individuals who were willing to be adaptive, had those core values, and were established that like, hey, we'll support you regardless to wherever in the world you are. Those are the organizations that really were able to thrive during COVID, because you were prepared. You had the support networks already set up for those people.
Yeah. And then even just to add to that as well, like it wasn't just a challenge for TribalScale, like the company. It was a challenge for the employees as well. Just seeing new people come in. Okay, I've never met this person. Are we going to do an onboarding presentation? So it's like, all right, HR, let's get that stuff set up. And it's like, okay, well, we have to make sure that our current employees are on board, and they're on board with the remote setting, so that we can have the new people coming in feeling like they're welcome by the team. So again, it's literally just a cycle. It felt like it was just one thing after another when it all kind of started, but we came out thriving. We really focus on fail fast, and what did we do then that we don't want to do now? What do we veer away from? And there's a lot of channels that are kind of like little fail fast channels too, where it's a great opportunity to look back and reflect. So I think it's definitely a lot of lessons.
I just want to quickly jump into because you said something earlier about that like failure or making mistake like isn't a bad thing. It's like an opportunity to like learn from that. And I think that's kind of a prime example of that, is that like even, you know, everyone kind of talks about the pandemic, but even just in general, like as you kind of go through those steps of like change, you're really rapidly having to change. You're going to make mistakes, but people need to learn that it's okay to make mistakes, and that's a learning moment.
I mean, it's like, you know, when we first went remote, it was like an MVP that we had going on, because you can't do everything perfectly all at once.
Oh, absolutely.
You're going to burn out and fail if you do that. You got to start small, because you have to implement things, and constantly, it's that constant iteration. Like you can't just all of a sudden think that things are going to be perfect. Like by no means is that ever achievable. And I mean, even now at this point, like we're still trying to figure out how we can improve. You know, it's a never ending cycle and process. So
so what is the role of collaboration within your organization? And could you provide us with some examples?
What is not the role of collaboration?
Sounds like that's pretty key.
Like I mean, even today, like when everything happened with Nicola, we were like, no, we need to have someone on the, like we want to work together and we want to do things together. So it literally just starts from like who you are as a person, wanting to work with others. But Alyssa, did you want to maybe take the reins on that, and then I'll jump in?
Yeah, like collaboration. I mean, I'll give my own example to kind of illustrate this. So I work in marketing, but like everyone here at TribalScale is involved in content creation. Like they're constantly going out of their own way. Like no one's forcing anyone. It's just organic and natural. They want to be involved and they want to collaborate, like and do that and take that initiative, which I've literally never seen anywhere else. So I think it's so unique. It's makes my job really fun, and I get to see more of people. Yeah, when it comes to feedback, we often say focus on the issue, not the personal. So when it comes to collaborating on a problem, we say focus on solving the issue the right way, using all the resources at our disposal. So with this in mind, our team is able to work together across teams, disciplines to find the right answers and help that they need to tackle a project or a challenge.
Well, that feeds into marketing and comms, right? You know, like as another marketing and comms person, like it definitely, like if someone's like super passionate about a project they're doing, or like you can tell like there's been really great collaboration and like everyone's excited to like get this, you know, out the door. Like that makes your job so much easier because like everyone's confident. Yeah. Everyone's comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it's super unique. I've just not seen like this level of collaboration or support for your colleagues anywhere else. So it's
Sounds like everyone's genuinely excited to come to work and to like
that is
learn about
exactly-
what everyone else is doing.
exactly what it is. Truly,
Yeah.
like that's the feeling that I feel every single day. So
That's really cool.
Yeah, I love that.
yeah.
It's so true. And I think even with collaboration, it also comes with your passion as well for what you do. If you don't love what you do, then it's going to be hard to work with somebody really and just focus on the issue and find the purpose and find the main goal of what you're doing and how to succeed in it. And I think even like when I first started working at TribalScale, and this is like my telltale story because I say it all the time, but I think it really just represents what collaboration is at TribalScale. When I first started, I didn't know anything about software. All I knew about Java is that my dog's name was Java. That's all I knew. And that it was coffee. So that's all I knew about Java. And so when I first started working here, I really had to just get myself involved and really just go against the grain and find out what the heck is software development, what the heck are all these tech stacks. I have to learn everything. And so I really worked with Sergey, who's our director of architecture here at TribalScale. The first week I had a 3-hour call with him and he was just walking me through everything. And so for me, for somebody who is super busy working on multiple projects, jumping between client issues, trying to mentor more junior engineers, and then he's able to be like, okay, Julia in HR, that has nothing to do with client projects like physically, but you know, you get the engineers coming through the door. I'm going to have a chat with you and I'm going to teach you everything you have to know. And so for me, that was huge. And I think that just kind of goes to show what collaboration is at TribalScale. And we are not a competitive environment, I would say. And so this is one thing I always mention in interviews is that we are so collaborative that if you are a backend engineer learning Node.js and you all of a sudden want to learn Android, we'll put you on Android. Like you'll start pair programming like tomorrow because we want you to learn as fast as you can. And we really want to help elevate your skill set. And so it's not that competitive environment where it's like, oh my God, no, I'm the iOS developer. No, you can't come to iOS. This is Android's your world. No, you're not coming to React. So it's really great that everyone here wants everyone to know everything because at the end of the day, it helps you and it helps the rest of the team.
And I think that cross training is so vital, especially in like back end, front end, web development, any type of development. Because if you're sick, like someone needs to read your code.
Yeah.
Someone might need to debug that.
Yeah.
Like there needs to be someone who's able to support you in that way. And like that
Yeah.
can't just, if all of that responsibility falls on one person,
It's chaos.
that is chaos.
But that's why pair programming is so important. And that's why it's such a great methodology and how we do things. And that's why it's such a selling point for me, especially, well, it doesn't matter where you're at in your career. Pair programming will only benefit you. And I think that's so excellent is just, okay, an engineer's sick one day. Well, you have the driver that's out, you have the navigator that's working on the back end. They know exactly what's going on. They know exactly what this engineer was doing, so they can easily hop on with the client and make it a smooth selling process. And I think that's also what ties together with our white glove experience and with the whole one-stop shop boutique where we want to be able to kind of have those hurdles solved before they even get to where they are in the current time. Even for HR, like, you know, like the director wants me to, he's like, all right, Julia, when are you learning coding? Like, when are we going to get you to work? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, let's get you to do some, let's get you to start writing some code. And I'm like, okay, one day we'll get there, Sergey.
Yeah,
Give baby
yeah.
steps,
Start
steps.
off with like BB code, HTML,
Yeah.
some CSS,
some
something like that.
some power apps or something,
Yeah.
some low code stuff, and then get me to working on Node.js or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely a fun time.
That's such a progressive way of thinking, like companies that don't have that competitive atmosphere because like your knowledge is my knowledge kind of thing. Like it only
Exactly.
benefits the company as a whole.
Well,
That's
at the
really
end
cool.
of the day, like we work together, right? If one person's lacking, it'll affect all of us. So we'd rather everyone know what's going on. We'd rather everyone be in tune and really focus on those strengths and what makes them like, okay, what are you really good at? Okay, perfect. Now let's get you pair programming on things that you need to work on. And we'll pair you with one of our senior engineers. We'll get you kind of at where you need to be or at par with it.
I am a big supporter of especially marketing and comms, of them being like very involved in like every stage of development because it makes marketing so much easier.
Yes,
if
when you know what you're talking about.
Exactly,
right?
yeah. Like you don't want to go to a press conference and talk about something or like be the one writing, you know,
Copy,
the
yeah.
copy or notes for a press release.
Yeah.
If
have
you
no
don't know what you're
idea.
talking about.
Yeah, you need to know what your company does, what service they provide, what they do. You need to be able to talk about it. Like, and it's interesting because, you know, as someone non-technical in the tech space, you definitely have to put yourself out there and, you know, take that initiative to learn that, to do your job effectively. And when I do that at TribalScale, I feel extremely well supported.
Yeah.
Like, anyone in any team, anywhere in the company could help me. Like, that's the level of support that I consistently feel.
Yeah. And it shows. It shows if you're passionate about what you're marketing.
Yeah, exactly.
I have met lots of folks who are marketing things, and I'm like, I know you don't like that.
I know that,
So,
yeah, it's like, why, like, there's no passion, and it shows in the end result of your work.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's something that when I joined TribalScale and just tech in general, that was like one of my biggest things was I need to learn this stuff to do my job effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I need to push myself to go out there and learn that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally feel that.
I know for us here at DNS, one of a big like component of like our hiring is that like folks need to at least have a passion for tech.
Yeah.
Because regardless of what team you're on, like, you're gonna be talking about tech. So
Yeah.
you need to like at least, like, we don't expect you to be coders or developers or, you know, agile experts or anything like that. But
Yeah.
we just need you to be like passionate.
Yeah. Like, at least want to learn about it too,
Yeah.
like, and have an interest in it, because yeah, it's gonna show in whatever you put out that
Yep.
there's no passion there's no excitement, and if you aren't excited, then no one else is gonna be about the work that you put out, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So TribalScale has worked on some really cool projects.
Yes.
Are you able to share a few of them with us?
yes, definitely. So one that sort of, both of these are really recent, but that we're kind of really particularly excited about. Recently we built AccuWeather's in-car application for Android Automotive OS. So it's really the first of its kind weather app. This is a new emerging tech, and to kind of paint the picture, so you'll be able to access apps directly from the infotainment system in your car. So directly from that sort of dashboard area. It's like downloading an app from the App Store to your car, essentially. That's where the direction of things are going. So Android Automotive OS is a type of operating system that we're getting more work in this space, but building this app for AccuWeather was really our first taste of it. This project was super exciting, and our Android specialized engineers really had to dig deep here into a lot of research. They were able to learn a lot about Google's design restrictions in the process, and we're looking more to this space because this is kind of the future of automotive.
Yeah.
So that's pretty exciting. Another thing is just our, Web3 in general, but we've been involved in various NFT marketplace projects. So building NFT marketplaces. Actually, we have an internal project on that right now where our engineers are just playing around with building our own internal NFT marketplace and using that blockchain and flow technology, getting our engineers, specialized in that area. And, the world of Web3, there's so much there, as everyone knows, and it is possibly the future of tech. So this is a really important area for us as well, just taking on more projects in this area, blockchain related, NFT related, and actually we have a digital magazine coming out, I think, in a couple weeks, where we got some guest writers in this NFT sort of space to collaborate with, and we're just slowly inching more and more into this space. So we're very excited to see what other projects we take on, not just NFT related, but just anything Web3 related, and kind of growing a name for ourselves in this industry. So we're super excited about it. I would say those are the two biggest things on my radar right now.
Sweet. Did you guys have anything else you want to say? Final remarks?
I think we're just excited to eat the seafood tonight. I hear that the food here is booming.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking forward to.
One of our colleagues already wrote them up some recommendations for
Yes.
spots to go. So shout out to Emily.
Yes.
Thank you, Emily. I just want to say thank you for having us. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. You guys made us feel so welcome.
Yeah.
Like we walked in the office and I was like, oh my God, my friends. I haven't met any of you, but you guys are so great. And I think if
Yeah.
anyone has the opportunity to come and do a podcast, I would strongly suggest you will be so welcomed and you will feel like a part of the DNS team. So please definitely look into that for sure.
Aw, so sweet.
Yeah.
We didn't pay her to say that.
No,
I promise.
no,
There's no
they didn't pay
royalties.
me in swag.
No. Thanks for tuning in to All Hands on Tech. Interested in learning more? Visit us on our website at www.digitalnovascotia.com. We'll see you next time.
This
has been
a Podstarter
production.